It took a second. Hey, good morning. Yeah, Erin Pennings here, turn your messaging into magic. So today I want to talk about pitching because there is this misconception around pitching that it's always got to feel slimy or that it doesn't work or all of the things. And so your pitch is really your foot in the door. And more goes into pitching than a lot of people think, which is probably part of the reason that people have this aversion to doing it for themselves. Just to give you some feedback, I have sent hundreds of pitches. I've pitched a lot of things for other people over the years as well. So, what makes a really good pitch? And I think the first thing you have to know is that it goes back to knowing your USP. What do you do? Who do you serve? How do you serve them? And that's what I taught in the USP workshop. If you have questions on that, let me know. Stop into my DMs because I can talk more about what that looks like. However, here's the thing. If you know that, then you can write some really, really good pitches. Because when your pitches are accurate, when your pitches are laser focused on the benefit for the other people, and I don't care if this is a media pitch, if this is a podcast pitch, if this is a pitch for work, if this is a cold pitch, if this is a warm pitch, like all of the things, right? Here's what makes your pitches effective. They are personal, they are laser focused on the benefit, and they're also really, really true to you, and they offer some very specific things that work. And they don't make people work hard for the information. So what I am talking about specifically here is going to be pitching people for your services, but you can apply this anywhere. So once at the baseline, you have your USP figured out, I want you to look very carefully at whoever you're pitching and figure out what their problem is. Because if you can focus in on what their problem is, and maybe sometimes you're wrong on the problem, and that's okay, but make a list of 10 people to start with. Figure out what is the problem that they face, why is it important, and how can you take steps to level it up, right? So, for example, let's look at website copy, right? That's where I planted my flag. Even though a lot of what I end up doing is funnel support and sales support, a lot of people come to me for website copy. So let's start there. And truly, your website copy is foundational. So if you don't have your USP, it's hard to write really good website copy. If you don't have your really good website copy, it's hard to have a place where you can direct people back if they want more information. Again, you don't want to make them work, so give them the information you can in the email. So here are the elements. A list, your USP, a list of people, and a very clear outline of the problem that you solve for them. And you can do things into some buckets. So with that said, once you've got those things ready to go, what you need is one, a really good subject line. Because if people don't open the dang email, it doesn't do you any good no matter what. Right? So you have to get people to open the email. And there's a couple of different formulas that are out there. If it's really cold, you want to ease your way in. If it's a little bit warmer, then you can get a little bit more specific. If you are super honed into what you're offering people, what that outcome can be, that can be your subject line, and it can be really, really awesome. Try to, if you form it question-wise, try to make it an open-ended question, meaning like who, what, when, where, how. Not do you, because people can then say no, right? So what's that look like? And then the first line, it's like, hey, so-and-so, something about them, a fact about them. Your recent post on such and such really caught my eye. Or, hey, you had so-and-so on your podcast, or you did this thing, this result was really cool. I want to know more about what this thing is. So, can we do some work on your website copy that talks about this so that when people are going, they see these future paced benefits that they can get too, because you've gotten them for other people. Things like that can be really effective because then you can work in what it is, right? Personal facts, something that makes them feel good. So it's all about them. Then you introduce yourself and show why it was. Hey, by the way, this is me. I do this for other people. Then you offer a solution. I'd love to talk with you, or, perhaps we can discuss this potential solution. And maybe there's some bullet points of some of the very real results that they can get. Maybe you have a video intro that they can then click on. Whether they click on it or not is up to them, obviously, but it should be short and sweet, like 30 to 60 seconds. And then you put where they can go for more information. Hey, here's my website. And again, this should be awesome. And if not awesome, then it should at least give some baseline information about who you are and show that you're this real person. And then finally, you close it out with an open-ended question like, how soon can we schedule a call? Or when can we set up a time to talk? Because people are more inclined to answer one of those than a yes or no. So, and then you close it off with, hey, thanks, this is my name. So this thing is true, whether you're pitching services, whether you're pitching media, whether you're pitching podcasts. All of these things are all true, because once you can do that really, really well and get people to respond, that's when the work starts coming. And if nothing else, then you're spreading the word about who you are and what you can do in a way that's not obtrusive. So how can you adapt that for podcasts? You would have the same structure, although if someone has a very specific structure that they want you to follow, you're stuck in with that. And not that you're stuck, but you need to make sure you follow it, or else you're not going to be considered. So those are 1, 2, 3. Subject line, personalization, clear offer. When you're talking about podcasts, you can share like bullet points of things that you could talk about. So, I'd love to chat with you about thing 1, thing 2, thing 3. These are all things that we can talk about. Or if there's something else you'd like to discuss, just let me know. And then again, the open-ended question, how far out are you booking guests right now? And some of this may be key from their existing podcast. Some of this may be key from their existing social media. So if you can dig in and get super specific, the more specific, the better. However, brief is also really, really good, right? Because brief ensures that it gets read. The longer you make something, the less likely it is to be read in its entirety, and the less likely people are to take action. So you've got the baseline pitch information, short, sweet, interesting, and personal, and you don't make them work. So what's the next step? The next step is the follow-up, right? So the follow-up then is, people might be interested. They might be thinking about that. You might be catching them at an off day. They might, any number of things could be happening. So if you have a follow-up, like, hey, recently I sent you this email. I just wanted to follow up on it and make this additional offer. Give them something else of benefit that they can say, hey, this is something I'm interested in. Does that make sense? So I wouldn't add a ton of the same follow-ups like, hey, have you opened my email? Have you opened my email? Because you don't want that to be it. Why haven't you responded? Why are you not responding to me? Why are things silent? Because if it's cold, that's really annoying. You've gotten those, I'm sure, from a million other people. You don't want to be that person in their inbox. But if you're offering something different and of value each time, or maybe just a quick, hey, just wanted to check in if this is free, this will be my last email to you about this. If you're interested or know someone who is, please let me know. Short, sweet, and to the point. But, if you have 2 to 3 follow-ups, that can be extremely, extremely effective. And you can have more, certainly, but the more you have, the more difficult it is to stay on top of things. So that's when you can automate things with software. There's a couple of softwares that have some great options that are relatively inexpensive. So we can talk more about that if you want to talk automating the follow-ups, just to make sure that it happens. Because it's tough enough to send the pitch, right? Secondly, to do the follow-up isn't always as easy. So there are some great solutions out there, but I want to keep this short and sweet and to the point because I really want you to know how easy it can be. So with that in mind, if you have questions for me, please let me know. If you would like to appear with me as a guest on this channel, please let me know. I would love to have you. We can absolutely discuss this. I love having conversations with people about who they are and what they do. So let's chat. Let's get you scheduled, and I will very much look forward to chatting with you extraordinarily soon. Have a wonderful day.